Hello everyone, welcome to the Football Brotherhood YouTube channel. I'm joined by my brother Christian. Christian, how are we, mate?
I'm good, lad, yeah. It's sweet us both coming on here in a good mood for once, isn't it? So, yeah, I think it's a nice change.
Man. Yeah, it's nice of you to join me on the winners train. Which is something I can't believe I'm saying. But yeah, I mean, absolute hell of a weekend for both of us. For different reasons, obviously bigger reasons for City.
Yeah.
And United is more of a tick box at the moment. And every weekend we seem to be ticking different challenges, and Spurs definitely was that. So massive win for both of us. We're on here. Game week 26 has come round very quickly. We are on here very early to do these because it's crept up on us. We're busy. Obviously, Liverpool City finished, just a day and a bit ago, So game week 26 is about to kick off tonight. We're on here early, first thing to do this. And we've got 4 games tonight, as you can see on the screen. We're going to go through all of them. Hit a like. Let us know in the comments what your predictions are for this game week and who you support. Let us know how your team's doing. Let's get straight into it. Chelsea are playing Leeds United at Stamford Bridge tonight, the 7:30 game. And Chelsea have been picking up wins under Liam Rosenior, as much of a David Brent character that he is. He's had a very good start to life. I know the fixtures have been favourable, but I mean,
life on the road. He is proper David Brent, Liam Rosenior, isn't he?
Oh, just some of his quotes, man, they're absolutely fucking tragic. But yeah, look, we've got 2 guys here. João Pedro Calvert-Lewin, 9 and 10, top scorers. He's in pretty good form, João Pedro. I've got to admit, most games I've seen him recently, he's been really good. Other than the Carabao game, Chelsea on a real hot streak. And Charles Leeds, man, what a massive win that was against Forest, who we're going to come to because they've got a big in themselves. So look, Leeds are doing enough to stay up, in my opinion, which is scary because somebody has to go down in that third spot. Burnley and Wolves look like the 2. Who's the third team?
It's going to be. It's looking like a recognised Premier League club's going to sink in it.
I don't think it's going to be Leeds. However, I don't think Leeds are going to pick up any points tonight. I'm going 2-1 Chelsea, Christian. I think they're going to get the job done at home tonight.
Yeah, I resonate with most of that. I think it's going to be pretty routine. I think Chelsea are going to have too much. They have been picking up wins. I reckon 2-0. I actually back them to keep a clean sheet here as well.
2-0, 2-1. Okay, yeah, minor difference there. Okay, yeah, just have a quick look at the table, man. Just a very
let's have a look at the bottom.
Yeah, I mean, Leeds United, obviously, the 6-pointer, they pulled 3 points away from Forest with that win, which is massive, and obviously the goal difference has gone up massively as well. They've now got 4. That's a key gap at this stage of the season. And more importantly, 6 points off of West Ham, who have obviously got my guys tonight.
Alex, do you know my biggest thing there when you're looking at that table, right? So I think Brighton, I think Palace, I think Forest are going to still be in it, but I reckon Tottenham are going to get dragged in. I think West Ham are going to pull away, which leads me to a few other predictions, which I'll be coming to later on in this video. But I think West Ham are going to be all right, and I think Tottenham, Forest, they're going to be looking at it. Tottenham are seriously in this now.
Yeah, I mean, look, Palace were as well, and before they got that huge win against Brighton. By the way, Brighton, I watched the game. They were absolutely terrible. And this Carlos Belieber at 100 million shit, he's absolutely crap. So I don't know.
He had a shocker, didn't he?
He's an abysmal midfielder. So don't be talking. I see it on social media. United fans go, cheeky 50 mil bid in the summer because of how bad he's playing. How about just a cheeky 0 bid in the summer and stay well away from the bloke?
Cheeky, leave him alone. He's not good enough.
Yeah, he's playing crap. Let's offer 50 mil. I mean, that's United fan logic for you. Anyway. Look, Tottenham, we're going to come to them as well. Let's stick with the 2-1 on this game, 2-0 for you, and we'll get to the next one. But massive from Leeds last week, and shout out them.
100%, yeah. I reckon, I feel a bit sorry for Leeds tonight. I don't think they're going to be able to do much, but yeah, Chelsea, I just think routine, man.
Everton, Bournemouth. I don't know what's going on with Everton. I don't know how they keep getting these odd, unbelievable wins. They've won away at Villa and away at Fulham in their last... and then a draw at Brighton.
We both backed pretty comfortable Fulham wins, didn't we? So that was a big shock. I didn't see the goals coming there. I really didn't.
I think this is the thing with the mid-table teams where there's always a little bit of recency bias where Fulham did play very, very well at Old Trafford and then not very well against Everton, and that's why these teams are where they are. There's no consistency to them, Fulham included. As good as they were at OT, they did lose the game. They conceded 3 goals. They conceded another 2. Look, Everton have... I think, all things considered, I've got to give it to the bloke. I think David Moyes is doing an unbelievable job there.
Yeah.
with the state of their attack. They've scored 28 goals in 25 games, and they are 8th in the Prem. They're 2 points behind neighbours Liverpool, which is incredible. So, look, this is a favourable game for Everton as well. Another one, and you think they can jump Liverpool tonight, Christian?
They could do. However, I have gone for them dropping points today.
Okay.
I think Bournemouth have been okay recently.
Yeah.
If you look at their last few games, if you look at their last few games, Alex, I think Bournemouth have been. They've had a few decent results in there, haven't they? So let's just have a check now.
Yeah. I mean, 2 wins and a draw. Yeah.
Draw Villa, comfy win away at Wolves.
Yeah.
Big win with Liverpool. So yeah, look, I think they're in a good position. I reckon 1-1 tonight.
Yeah, no, I've gone 1-1 as well. Yeah. So as much as I do think Everton, they seem to be performing better away from home, and as you can see there, they've got the 2 draws were at home, 1 draw away, and 2 wins away. So look, I think a big one for Everton because they can jump Liverpool tonight, and I think that is going to read very, very, very good for them boys on that side,
Alex,
of Merseyside.
Just a quick one. Why do you think that is? Because I agree with you, by the way. You know how certain teams can be better away from home, and I think there's something behind it. You know, with these, say Barry, for instance, I feel like when you're at home, the pressure is greater. You know, like the crowd groaning because they're sick of the usual from a player like Barry, missing chances, not being in the right positions. When they're away, do they play with a little bit more freedom, that lack of fear? I think it could be an element.
Yeah. I think Spurs are in that same category as well. I mean, they've now equally as shit away as they are at home, but they went through a spell where they were just better away from home as well. And I think that's it, where you've got a low on confidence side. They might go away from home and just relax a little bit, like Everton did away at Villa, got that massive 1-0 win. Look, it's a good opportunity for Everton to get a win tonight for them guys at home. I feel like they could do with a good home night there at that new stadium because they've got 28 goals in 25 games, man. If
I'm being honest, I think if they hadn't have had that unfortunate Grealish injury and he could have finished the season out, I genuinely think they could have pushed for Europe. I mean, you're looking at Liverpool. Liverpool going away to Sunderland, we'll obviously get to that later, but they've not got some good fixtures coming up, and with Slobozai now out, I tell you what, they could have been looking at a possible Europe charge, Everton, without the Grealish exit.
Europa League is a good goal for them. Why not? You know, and better still, shunt Liverpool into the Conference League. But we're going to come to Liverpool anyway. So yeah, look, we've sort of gone the same on that. I think that's a bit of an obvious scoreline. Okay, let's come to relegation threatened Tottenham Hotspur and free fall Newcastle United. This is what's the opposite of El Clasico?
There's something that comes to mind, but I'm not going to say it, shall I, Patrick?
Repeat it.
Mate, if you want me to go first on this one, because I think I might shock you, I'm going to back Spurs to win. Now, I know that seems madness when you're watching Tottenham Hotspur at the moment, and I know obviously Romero's going to be out, but Newcastle and the way they're playing do not impress me either, Alex. I watched them make Tijani Reinders like Yaya Toure. I'm not saying anything against Reinders, but I've never seen a team give us so much freedom from the centre of the park to the edge of their box. It was ridiculous. Players had the freedom to make 30, 40-yard sprints, and there was no pressing. And when they were pressing, they were doing it at daft times. Their positioning in the box was stupid. Decision-making by defenders. I think they're in serious trouble. I think Tottenham know they are getting dragged into this and fast, and they need to start turning something around. I know Frank is probably going to leave, but the players themselves, mate, they've got to pull something out. They know where they are in the table looking at these points. I'm backing 2-1 victory.
Okay, I've also gone 2-1, but I've gone Newcastle again, who I did say last week on the predictions, if they lose at home to Brentford, that's it for me with them. Yeah. They did lose at home to Brentford, and I have stupidly backed them again. However, they're against Tottenham Hotspur. I saw them on Saturday play my team, and they are battered with injuries. They have got a lot of players out. Udogie and Romero have now joined that list for one being suspension, one being injury in Udogie. I'm concerned for Spurs in a way of, I don't really care to be honest, but I think that, look, obviously, coming from my perspective, I don't think or hope that West Ham will get any closer to them tonight. However, in the coming weeks, there's 12 games left after tonight, man. That's a lot of points that West Ham can get. Yeah. Tottenham, you are 6 points off the drop zone right now. You cannot flirt with this any longer. Palace were in the same category. They got a big win. Now look, they've got a 9 point gap. Spurs need to get something going very quickly. I don't think it's going to be tonight. I think Newcastle are going to beat them 2-1. So
if you're right, Alex, if you're right with that, their situation is dire, and I think Thomas Frank. I mean, I'm shocked he's still in the job, to be honest, but I think then it becomes untenable.
Ain't it weird how like your perspective of a manager can change so quickly? Where like he seemed like a little bit of a mid-table genius at Brentford, he leaves, all of a sudden Brentford are better. Like let's not get it twisted. I'm not pointing all things to Frank, but you could look at that and go, was he holding them back?
Alex, I think like we touched on this. I don't know whether we did an episode or it was on the last predictions, and we were talking about these mid-table managers like your Glasner, your Marco Silva, and I think we were talking about are they ready for the next jump up? And sometimes it's about knowing your level, and it can be detrimental to the rest of your managerial career. And I think that's where Frank's at, because now Frank's in that Potter category, isn't he? Where
it's a bit of a div.
Yeah, who's going to now touch him? And the team that are going to touch him, it's going to be like maybe a Burnley if they got promoted back to the Prem or something like that. You know what I mean? It's really damaging to their careers.
It is, but maybe he is crap. And that's the reality of the situation, is that looking at him in his press conference, he was defending Romero, and the guy in the press conference room actually had to highlight that Romero's had the most red cards in the Premier League since he came to the Premier League, and Frank did not. He did not get that.
I've got some thoughts on that guy, Alex. We'll get to that later.
I thought the opposite. So, look, yeah, I'm going with that. Look, they're two poor teams in my opinion. However, I've still stupidly got faith in Newcastle. Maybe because I think Tottenham have got about 13 players missing, and I think the manager's a bit of a div, and their captain's missing. So unless you can tell me Van der Ven is going to have... And I thought he was great, by the way, at United. He held them together, and he kept it down to 2-0, probably single-handedly. Van der Ven, I think he's a very, very good player, but I don't think he'll be suiting up in white next season.
Yeah, I do like Van der Ven myself, but Tottenham just look a mess all over. I mean, if you look at their league finishes now back-to-back, they're going to be edging around the same position. It's disgraceful.
Easily. Maybe one lower.
Yeah, possibly.
Okay, let's come to my guys. Manchester United on a 4-game win streak now. We took care of business against Tottenham. Started the game fantastically well when it was 11 versus 11, so I am taking a little bit from it. I ain't turning down the red card from that idiot. If he wants to get himself sent off with a ridiculous tackle, go ahead, mate. So obviously there's that element in my head where it's 11 versus 10. I'm still searching for that security as a United fan where I'm like, and don't get me wrong, like Fulham and Spurs at home are 2 games, the skiddy games. Spurs beat us 4 times last season. Fulham are a good side. The 2 big boys we beat in different fashion sort of thing. And now we have another challenge, Christian. We have a relegation threatened team at home, midweek, 2 games rest, 2 days rest. This is obviously for 5 in a row, and now Manchester United have almost a week and a half off because we don't play FA Cup. I'm nervous about this one. I've been nervous about every game since really the Arsenal one because I'm just desperate for this to continue. And I do think it's going to continue. That's not a shock to anyone. I have backed United to win every game after the derby, which we have done, including Arsenal away. I'm not going to start saying we're not going to now. However, this is going to be tighter than people think. And I am going to go with a 3-1 United win with a late third after a 2-1 dicing with death 25 minutes or so. That's my prediction of how the game's going to go tonight. West Ham, they are a very good form team right now. They're in the relegation zone. However, they've won 4 out of 5. Look at the stats in front of you. They've won 4 out of 5.
They were very unlucky at Stamford Bridge as well, by the way.
And they should have got some at Stamford Bridge, so that could even look even better. And I mean the good wins there. I mean Sunderland at home, Burnley away, Spurs away. To go and get 9 out of 9 there and you've got the situation they were in. They had to go and win.
Shout out West Ham, because it really is that they've performed the great escapes before, and this is going to be another one, and I reckon they're going to do it. No, I hear your reasons, Alex. Look, my brain tells me to go with Man United. They're the informed team. They should win, but there's just like that sneaking feeling of it's going to be that 5 in a row. That weird thing that's going around on social media. Is it getting in people's heads a little bit? Look, United should just forget all that shit and just go and win the game. You're the better team.
It is a thing, though.
But it is a thing. And I was listening to you boys last night on the. You touched on it, didn't you? I went and rewound it and heard that. And I do agree. I think it's a little bit of a distraction, and we'll see if it is tonight. Because if United drop a stinker, you would have to lean to it being that.
There is.
But
I was just going to say as well, just before you give your prediction, I do think the quick turnaround is a challenge as well to United, and he's playing his full strength team weekly, and why not? We don't have midweek games.
Yeah.
This is the first one where you look at your Luke Shaw, you look at Maguire, you look at Lisandro Martinez off an ACL, you look at Casemiro who nearly got his ankle snapped 2 days ago. You look at them players and you look at them and go, oh my God, really should be rotating a couple of them, Christian. But who's the guys that can we afford that? The answer is probably no.
Yeah, I don't think you can afford to, and I think you're not going to, are you? Because you've got the winning formula right now. You don't want to mess with it, because if Carrick does change anything and it balls us up, it's not going to reflect well, and everyone's going to get on him. So, I think it's going to be 1-1. I think it's going to be tight. Look, United should win. I just have a feeling that West Ham are going to get something. I think it's one of them horrible times, Alex, where it's coming towards the last stage of the season. You've got a team fighting for their lives. They're in good form. They're at home. You feel like the crowd are going to be up. They know the importance of this bullshit, like 5 in a row. They want to be the team to stop it. I think they're going to get something. So, I've gone with 1-1, mate.
Yeah, I've got a bit of a bad feeling, honestly. And it is a little bit heart over head, this prediction. And 3-1 obviously does sound good.
I mean, to be fair, Alex, you should win. So
I mean, I was on David Speaks Football last night with Dan as well, Touch United, so shout out them too, and we had a good chat on the preview of this game, and obviously I gave 3-1 prediction last night. I did emphasise the concern around the quick turnaround for those players I mentioned. One thing I do want to talk about just before we move on, which is something that obviously I'm hoping, is Manchester United have got one of the best attacks in the league. I obviously very very well put that we have a better attack than Arsenal there, who have, in fairness, got 7 in the last 2 themselves, so they have pulled away slightly. But we know there's a little bit of an asterisk on these stats with Man United because of Amorim, and we wasted 20 games in that abomination of a system, and we are still 5 behind City and 3 behind Arsenal. So our attack is very good, and we're hot at the moment since Carrick's come in. Cunha and Mbumo and Sesko and Bruno are all scoring. That's factual. So let's come to these guys very quickly. Worst defence in the league, bar one, which is Burnley. So, Manchester United's attack is hot. They've got a shit defence. I'm leaning on that, obviously. I mean, look, United's attack is better than our defence, so we've got to. Every single game between now and the end of the season, we're going to have to outscore opponents to a degree anyway, just because of the way our squad is. They've got to be at it tonight, and I hope they are. But
Alex, I was thinking about that. The reason I went with the prediction I did, I was thinking about how the pattern of the game could go. If it does go this way, then United should blitz them. If United get an early goal, I think you will cook them. But I have a feeling West Ham are going to score first, and then I think it's going to be one of them situations where I think United will equalise. You'll push for the second, and don't think you'll get it. But I could be wrong. If you score in the first 5 minutes, it could be a demolition job. So everyone can laugh at me.
I have got a little bit of a bad feeling. I think it is, honestly, I know it's mental. I do think it is a little bit centred around that 5 in a row shit. And I know it's mad. There is football reasons as well, like you've pointed out very well, that they are fighting for it a little bit. They're in good form. They're not the 3rd worst team in the league. That is a false position. I mean, they are by definition, but they're not in theory. So, massive game tonight. If United can go into this little mini break that we're going to get because of the FA Cup on a 5-game win streak, incredible from Carrick, and there's no other way of it is incredible anyway that he's won 4 out of 4. But we're getting greedy now. Man United fans are getting greedy. We want this to continue because one of the big things that's left in this is how are United going to respond to a bad result. That's a challenge, and I want to kick that can down the road as long as possible, to be honest. So massive one tonight. Cannot wait, and hopefully I'm sat here 5 in a row, and that idiot's got a buzz cut. So let's roll. Right, let's come on to Aston Villa. I think a lot of people are concerned about Villa's status in this top 3, definitely. Maybe top 4, maybe top 5. So they've got Brighton at home. I thought Brighton were awful on Sunday. We have busy lives. I don't get to watch these teams 90 minutes every weekend. Yes, Sunday was a day I did get to watch Brighton for 90 minutes. I mentioned Carlos Baleba, crap, terrible. They were awful, Brighton. Awful. I couldn't believe how low they are in the table, Christian, mate. You're laughing at Spurs. These are only 2 points above Spurs. So, look, I'll go with mine first, Christian, here. I am going for an Aston Villa win. They're going to steady the ship a little bit. And they badly need it, by the way. They are not in great form, Villa. So, yeah, what are you saying?
I've gone 3-1. I've gone 3-1 Villa. I think they're going to bounce back here with a pretty dominant victory. I really was unimpressed by Brighton myself. I just think they're going to get outplayed, dominated. Villa are far superior. So I think routine victory. Villa are going to steady the ship a little bit. Obviously, it's an important. They need to get this win. If they drop points again, you're looking at this amazing season.
Wow.
And then it's like, because the league is so condensed, could they end up missing out on Europe after all that? You know what I mean? We did a video saying, go and sign someone and go and push for the league. Imagine they end up keep slipping up in these games they should win, and then they end up missing out on Europe.
Look, we don't know. We don't know. United have still got, acceptable question marks by them, but United don't have midweek games. These lot are in Europa League. Those Thursday, Sundays are tough. United can focus on every single Prem game to the maximum, and we are probably healthier than them as well.
Well, I heard what you said last night, Alex, on Davy's channel, and I agree. I think you'll finish third. I'm not going to say it a canter, but I just look at the trajectory of both teams and how it's going, and it's a simple answer. I think you are going in the right direction. You're more free scoring. I think the goals aren't looking great for them anymore. I don't know where they're really coming from at the moment. So and they're just struggling to get wins over the line.
I mean, look, we've scored 10 more goals than Villa. I appreciate the defence is equally as, obviously we've got the same goal difference, but attack trumps defence in my opinion. You'd rather be seeing them go in at the other end than keeping it tight at the other end. United are as good as anybody right now in the league offensively. So you drop to fourth, then you are on thin ice because you have got two big dogs. Whatever we think of Liverpool, they've still got that.
They've been there,
You don't want to be Villa looking over your shoulder at Liverpool is a point I'm making. I don't like looking over my shoulder at Liverpool, and I'm Man United. So
Alex, a nasty one for Aston Villa as well. It's their last game of the season is away at the Etihad.
Right. I do think as well, fixtures, United have ticked off these two already, played them twice. And we've also played Liverpool away and we've played Villa away. We've only got Chelsea away left in this sort of collection of games. You look at Chelsea. Chelsea have got City and Arsenal and United left. So I'm feeling quite good about it. I know we've digressed a little bit there. Look, Villa are going to take care of business tonight. They're going to win 2-0. You said 3-1. So, yeah. Right, let's get on to... Sorry, that's tomorrow. My bad. That's Wednesday evening. And now we've got Palace and Burnley.
It's a tie one. Another big one at the bottom of the table.
Look, this is a great opportunity for Palace to go 2 in a row after I said they were getting sucked... Well, no, I didn't say they were. They were mathematically in trouble because they were. They got a huge win. They're now up to here. They could be third. Christian, all of a sudden, they could be 10th.
I think they will as well, Alex. I've backed a straightforward. I've gone 1-0. I think they're going to just about do enough. See off Burnley. Burnley have gone now, haven't they? I think they're in that awkward position where they know they've sunk. Crystal Palace, great bounce back win. I back them to continue and really claw themselves into a comfortable position. 1-0.
Okay. Yeah, I'm going to go 1-1. I'm going to go slightly different to you. I think Burnley have been a bit better than their results suggest, although they're obviously not a very good side. And like you said, it's getting to that point where they're just accepting their fate, which is not a great situation to be in. They're not Wolves, but they're not getting out of it either. So, look, I'm going to go 1-1 with this, but what a chance for Palace to really just 35 points. You're nearly at that famous 40 milestone. So, look, big win at Brighton for Palace. I didn't think they were going to get that. They did. So fair play to them, and it looks like they're out of danger already, really. That's how easy it can be to quickly turn around. Okay. Let's come to your guys. Obviously got a mega result away at Liverpool with a last-minute penalty of Erling Haaland.
Yeah, man.
And a first-half display that was something to really be proud of, I think. And I think Guardiola probably played a team that not many City fans would have played, and I think it did work. I thought second half, ironically, I didn't think you were very good in the second half. Again, you did tail off, but you scored 2 goals and won 2-1 in the second half. From a 1-0 deficit, by the way, and it was an absolute blockbuster by Szoboszlai. But you show character in the second. I think you show class in the first. Am I getting anything wrong there on that quick
Alex, you're so right. It's ironic, isn't it? Because the thing I've had is where City are playing well in the first half and we do score, we go ahead, we fall asleep in the second half, and then we ultimately either lose or draw the match. Now, we didn't get the goal when we were on top, and we did play great in the first half, I completely agree. And then we went into the second half, and we did the usual, fall asleep, we're not turning up for the second half, and then a madness happened. After the 74th minute,
Yeah.
they get that ridiculous screamer. Shout out for that goal, by the way. That's one of the best free kicks I've ever seen. He bangs that, and then 10 minutes later, Bernardo gives us a lifeline. Then Alisson loses his head, just gifts us a penalty.
I thought he was a bit off all night, though, Alisson.
Yeah, he was like rushing out. By the way, I agree with Gary Neville on comms when it was the Marmoush situation. He sprinted out. Marmoush completely pussied out of that situation. He didn't fancy it. He could have got him sent off then. So the fact he then went and did something equally as stupid in the same match after having a lifeline, yeah, he was a bit all over the show. But shout out City. Look, I thought they showed some great character. Love that from Bernardo Silva. You get that goal back. It felt like it lit a bit of a fire in Pep's belly. He was straight off the bench. Bernardo, ball out the net, straight on the centre circle, and we were straight back at him. They did help us, I'm not going to lie. Bit of a mad decision. But City did a great job overall. It's a huge win at Anfield. I think we've won twice there in 30 years, man. So, look, huge win. It puts us right back in it, and which means this one is equally as huge, Alex. Every match now is a cup final for City, because especially this one. So I'm looking at it, and we were talking, weren't we, on the other day, and we were talking about like the games Arsenal have left. And if you look at it, they are in a situation where they have got the favourable fixtures, you'd have to say. But when you're looking at like your Brentford's away, which they have Thursday, by the way, they're the kind of games you're looking at as a City fan going, oh, maybe. Do you know what I mean? So we have a chance to close this to 3. Go and win, comfortable win, which I'm backing 2-0, by the way, which is my prediction. I think if you bring it to 3 and you're putting that Arsenal team and Mikel Arteta in a situation where they're on thin ice, I think they could falter.
Yeah, I mean, I was talking about this last night with David and Dan on David's channel. So if you're not watching that, go and have a look. And yeah, I think that I'm going to give City credit. I think that the next 3 games are massive for City, because I do think, you don't want to get into the numbers too much, but we were speaking one way. I do think you're going to have to win 11 out of 13. Whatever we think of Arsenal, I think 11 out of 13, for me, puts it in a 50-50 situation. Maybe 12 out of 13. I think 11 out of 13, if you tell me City are going to win that now, I think it's a toss of a coin who wins it. Seriously. So that puts you in that puts your name in the hat where at the minute you're 6 points off. Yeah. Can City win at 11 out of 13? Well, Fulham at home has to be one of them, Christian, and that's obviously a big one. I do think you're going to win this, but I think it'll be 2-1. Again, is there a bit of recency bias with Fulham there, where I'm a little bit impressed with that OT performance? And also City went through a tough second half at Anfield, where they did show character, to be fair. But at the end of the day, how narratives can flip so quickly in football. That would have been 1 win in 6 if you didn't get that last minute penalty and that head's gone from Alisson. That's how quickly this, and title over, by the way. 8 points is probably too much for City. You're then looking at 13 out of 13 to win, which we very doubt City can do at this City anyway. So, look, I think it was a massive show of character, and you're right. You've got to build on this. This is where the momentum starts. However many points you can get between now and the end of the season, you've got to start with the win at Fulham. And I do think you will, by the way. I'm going to give you a 2-1 win.
Yeah, Alex, I agree with everything you said. I think Pep's got to show us something from this squad that we have yet to see. Because currently, if you're looking at the way we've played all this season, and City's form, City's run of games where they can't put consecutive wins together a lot of the time, we're very inconsistent. If we continue in that fashion, then we can't win the league. So he's got to show us something of a City of old. Now, we've still got some of them players. Is it enough? Rodri, Bernardo, Ruben Diaz. I think these are the boys that need to really step up. If we are going to drag this and really push Arsenal, them boys are so important because they've been there. I'm not disrespecting any of the newer or the younger players, but I feel like they are more accepting of less. There was just something I wanted to touch on, Alex, and I did send it to you. I can't even remember if you replied to it. But it was Erling Haaland in an after-match interview, and he said something along the lines of, I was glad to get the assist for Bernardo. I just wish he'd celebrate a little bit more. And Bernardo's nah, mate, I picked the ball out of the net because the league was fucking done unless we went and won that match. And it does concern me looking at Erling Haaland coming out with something like that. You're one of our senior players. You've won a fucking treble, man. The record you hold, you should be also exactly the same as Bernardo Silva there. We're not Arsenal. We're not jumping into the crowd, into the away end, getting a draw at Anfield when the league's fucking sailed. Do you know what I mean?
He's a bit. His personality is a bit of a. He is a bit of a different sort of character, though, isn't he, Haaland? As much of a winner as he is, and he's been very successful, he has had these. Like he was. Me and my partner were watching it on Sunday, and he stood there with the VAR check, having a chat with Szoboszlai. Mate, go and separate yourself. I was a bit disappointed. City players didn't get in the way there.
No,
Take Haaland to the corner of the box. You satisfy your thoughts. Okay, he stuck the pen away. Brilliant. He's not got a great record of pens. He's missed 2 out of his last 5, and he stood there having a chat with Szoboszlai, who apparently they're mates. I didn't know that.
Yeah, the best mates.
I don't think Szoboszlai was offering any advice in that situation. Look, he's a bit of a unique dude, and obviously the showing at OT where he just didn't look invested in a derby. Look, at Haaland, he got a goal and an assist. I'm still think he's got to get going for you to make. Obviously, you're not going to win 11 out of 13, 12 out of 13. Is there a figure you're looking at? We're looking at the table here, Christian. 50 to 56 points here. 13 games left. You can get a maximum of 89 if you win every single game. Is there a figure you've circled that you think I think that we can win it with that? Is there a figure you've got your eye on, like 83, 84? Do you think that could do it?
Honestly, it's so hard to predict, isn't it? Because as much as I'm criticising my team, Arsenal have been stuttering as well. Really, Arsenal should have wrapped this league up by now, but they haven't, and they've kept the door slightly ajar for us and given us this opportunity. Do I trust Arsenal to go and win every game they've got available left? No, I don't. I don't know how many they're going to drop points in, though, and that's the crucial part. I really couldn't tell you. I think the most simple way City have got to look at this is you have to win every single game, and you still might not win the league. That is the absolute reality, but you've put yourselves in that position. You could win every single match now until the end of the season, and you still could fall short, and that's on you. But I think that's the target, Alex. If you're circling a number, you're circling 89.
Yeah, no, I like it. Okay, yeah, I mean, let's see, man. I think obviously it is a big one. Like you said, 13 finals. You've got distractions. You've got a big one in the Carabao. You've got Champions League games. Honestly, this is a big thing for me with United. Don't want to go back to United, but looking at the fixture congestion you two have got, and the games, you're going to have Prem games in between, a big 2 legs in the Champions League. Maybe if one of you go deep in that, I want United to close the gap between you two, between now and the end of the season, because we have 1 game a week. People don't. That is such an advantage. Leicester won the league with 1 game a week. That's how big of an advantage it is. I'm not saying United can win the league with 12 points off. I get that. But I want at the end of the season to go, whoever wins it, that United are closer than 12 points right now, and that's my goal against you two. Yeah. And obviously, if one of you fall away massively, maybe get into second, which would be amazing. But that's the thing, as a United fan, I'm thinking, close it to 12. I do think 83 will win it this season. That's my prediction.
It's a low total, but yeah, let's see, Alex. I think if City get that win, it makes this seriously interesting, doesn't it?
Facts. Okay, right. 3 more games. Forest against Wolves. This is just a must-win for Forest if they have got any aspirations for sorting this situation out that they're in, because they're the ones that are going a little bit between the lines, because Spurs is the big story. West Ham is the big story, mate. They came top 5, 6 last year. They're 17th.
The money spent.
They could be in the relegation zone after 1 game. The way it is, they're only 3 points adrift. However, this is Wolves we're talking about, and they've won 1 game, and I think we've been a little bit complimentary to Wolves. I just think they're going to lose most games now to the end of the season. They had a little bit of a mini fight. I'm going 3-0 Forest, big one for Forest.
Heavy win. I've gone a lot tighter, but I am back in the same outcome, Alex. I've gone 1-0. I don't think Forest are in a position to blow anyone away right now, even if it is Wolves. So 3-0 would surprise me. But yeah, I've gone with a tighter one. They are going to get the job done, but mate, they need to start putting some sort of run together, because the money spent and the mess they could potentially be in, Alex, if they get relegated. I mean, I saw you. Obviously, we have a group chat with our cousin, don't we? And you were saying a lot of these teams that are big spenders and big movers in the market, they could be heading to administration. I think you could see it a lot more common. And I agree with you. I really do, because you cannot be dropping 200 plus and then going down. It just, you can't do it.
Totally agree with Christian. Look, this is must win. If they don't beat Wolves, I think forget Spurs, forget Leeds, forget West Ham. I think Forest are going. If they can't take care of business at home against Wolves in a must win game, I think just forget it. So yeah, I'm obviously backing them convincingly. But I take your point. Sunderland against Liverpool. That's it. Like I said, the narrative flipped very quickly on Sunday. Liverpool were we're in good position to keep pace.
Yeah.
And conceded 2 goals. They're going to be very, very upset with both, albeit the first one, you can't do loads about it. It's classic Peter Crouch Defoe goal, to be honest. Off a deflected Cherky cross. It's a moment in a game that City maximised, but they missed chances. Hugo Ekitike, I'm looking at you, bro. You were 90 million. That counter-attack, Salah saved your ass with that Travella pass because you fucked the pass up to Salah and then you fucked the fucking header up as well. So, Hugo Ekitike, don't be giving me goals against the bottom half. Where are you, bro? You're 90 million.
Yeah, I think his record against the big six is really bad as well.
I don't rate him at all. I think he's going to be 90 million in the bin.
I just put him in that Marmouche category. I said it to you before. I think there's a lot of them players floating about, and I don't think they're neither one thing or the other. They're half a cut in and shoot merchant, but they're not very accurate or very good with it. So what have you really got on your hands? I think where he's at in terms of his goal scoring, the best you're going to get out of Hugo Ekitike is 15. I think the worst you could potentially get is more like 6, 7. That is honestly where I place him.
I do think as well though, like it is a good point with who are you scoring your goals against? Because I know that like Mbumo and Cunha haven't like statistically gone berserk for United. Although Mbumo is on 9 now, which is respectable, and he missed 5 for AFCON. But Mbumo scored against City, Arsenal, Liverpool. Yeah. You know what I mean? So Tottenham at the weekend. So Mbumo's goals are bigger goals. Ekitike getting 2 against some bottom half dross, mate. I'm not interested. Where were you at the weekend against City? 50p head.
A lot of people will argue with that, and they'll simply just lean on the stats. But I actually agree with you, because if you look at the games that are the most important, taking points off your rivals at the top of the table can be the difference in you winning a league. Can be the difference between you qualifying for Europe and not. And that is the big difference in then being able to spend in the summer. There's a huge domino. And yeah, it is worrying that he looks like he goes missing. I mean, that header, it's appalling. And I think the game's probably done then, because we were really up against it at that point. I think if they'd have scored then, I think we'd have looked at a completely different end of the game.
I thought he was abysmal. I'm sorry. I thought he was shite. I don't think there's any way of... Look, Salah's legs have gone. However, he's got 200 Premier League goals. I ain't coming down hard on Salah. It happens.
Do you think,
all
Alex,
the greats.
Do you think Ekitike and do you think Gakpo really move the needle? I just don't. I think they're very similar. In essence, I think they are what they are.
I said... obviously I posted a TikTok that I had about 200,000 Arsenal fans in the comments crying about because I said United's attack is better than Arsenal's, which I significantly stand by, certainly after the game 2-3 weeks ago I do.
Yeah,
I think Newcastle have got a mid-table attack. Sorry, Liverpool. I think Liverpool have got a mid-table attack, maybe verging on bottom half.
So have they as well.
I think, yeah, mate, they've got a championship attack, Newcastle. Sorry, Ryan, if you're still watching. Look, I think they have wasted 500 million. In a nutshell, I think Wirtz is really, really average player. I think Ekitike is extremely overrated. He's a stat padder. Comes up in the big game. You're caught in the headlights. You're heading things wide from 7 or 8 yards, mate. I don't rate Ekitike. I don't rate Wirtz. I don't rate Gakpo. I rated Salah, but his legs have gone. So where's the rest of them, mate? I think they're fucked. Honestly, I think they're going to be into your Ricky Lambert Lallana days.
God, I mean that is.
But an expensive version.
Yeah, I mean, Florian Wirtz, look, I just don't think this guy's a big dog. I think he's weak. I think he had a great chance to win the game. I know Gay got the blocking. Alex, look at how he's shot. The trajectory of it, of the way he's shooting, is piss poor. Piss rolling it towards a defender.
It's because he is.
Take a touch and fucking blast it. Like, what are you doing? The whole way he plays his game, he's very delicate and weak. Alex, it stinks of. You mentioned a guy called Kagawa. I tell you what, it stinks of that Mario Götze, the Kagawa. They're good players. No one can doubt, they can pick a pass, but they'll do it at times. They'll pick a pass, Burnley, at home, 60th minute, they've got a load of space and you're winning 2-0. Are they going to do it in them big moments? Are they that Kevin De Bruyne pass in the 89th minute that gets you the win? Are they fuck?
They're not quite out for it. He feels like pure shit once mine's back. I'm sorry. Wirtz, he's 120 million in the bin. Ekitike, 90 million in the bin. Gakpo, crap. Salah, legs gone. Isaac, crocked. Yeah. Am I missing anyone? Rubbish. You're into mid-table jeopardy. Alisson, fuck me. His legs haven't gone. His fucking head's gone. Van Dijk all over the place. His legs have gone. Konate wants to fucking move. Missing Trent Alexander-Arnold. They're fucked.
Alisson was like you in fucking Deansgate 2 weeks ago when we did an all-dayer.
Charging at people. Yeah, man, that's it. Yeah, fullbacks are terrible. Warwick Davis at left-back's terrible. I'm sorry. And you're missing Arnold. Your midfield's getting overrun now because your best player shunted to right back because you splashed 125 million on Shinji Kagawa. So look, I think they are into mid-table oblivion now unless they've got another war chest. And would you trust Slot with it because he spunked this one royally. Right, okay, enough Liverpool loving. Oh, sorry. What?
Yeah,
I've got predictions. 1-0 Sunderland.
No, mate, we were just too busy bashing.
1-0 Sunderland. 1-0 Sunderland. Yeah, man.
Sunderland. Yeah, look, I've gone and dropping points as well. I've gone 2-2. I think it'll be a good match actually because Liverpool are leaky and they can get goals as well. So I reckon 2-2.
I think it's the last game they need away at Sunderland in midweek.
Yeah, it's not. They've not
lost their all season and they ain't going to lose against
their best player missing as well.
Man, Soboslai. Yeah, they need to get him back in centre mid and bin Shinji Kagawa off. I'm telling you, right. Last game, big one. You're hoping that the gap will be 3 points by this point. If it is 3 points, this is a tough one for Arsenal. Brentford have suddenly, out of nowhere, after slipping a little bit, won back-to-back games away at Villa and Newcastle. They've now got Arsenal at home.
Two serious wins.
But we have to give credit where credit's due. I'm looking at this one at the bottom. I was very, very critical of Arsenal, and so were you after that game.
Yeah.
And obviously they have. You can see the results. They've won Leeds, Chelsea, and Sunderland. One being in the Carabao, but they've scored 8 goals. They've not let any in. It's a little bit more early season Arsenal with the clean sheets, and we spoke on Sunday evening about this. Yeah. The clean sheets is where they're going to win this title because they're not going to win 3 and 4-0 every game. I don't think they're going to win 3 or 4-0 in this one. However, I do think they're going to win. And again, I'm maybe getting swayed a little bit with their last 2 impressive games. Weirdly, when the pressure has been on a little bit, they've actually gone and won. Like the Leeds game didn't feel like a game they were going to go and do. They played Sunderland with all to play for, put the pressure on City, and they actually did for once. I know you responded great yourselves. I'm going to go with a 1-0 Arsenal win. I think the clean sheets are coming back, and I think it's going to steady them for a bit till the Etihad game. What are you saying?
Yeah, it's a fair prediction. I think what I would say in that, Alex, is if you look at the opposition, so yeah, Leeds, good victory. I think that the Leeds keeper was throwing it in his own net, wasn't he? But, it was a good win. Then you look at Sunderland, we obviously had them at home, we kept a clean sheet, and my opinion on our defence early season. And they can turn up. They did the same at your ground as well, Alex. And for some reason, when they can have an off day, they really have an off day, Sunderland. If you look at that game in between, I watched the game against Chelsea. I thought Arsenal were very, very poor in that. I think they had no
in the first leg.
They were. I think they had no intention to win that game. They inadvertently did end up winning it because Chelsea were committing every man forward.
Yeah.
But yeah, I wasn't really impressed. I don't like that tactile way that Arteta goes around things. You are the better team. You can go and blitz Chelsea at home. It's in fairness to City. Yes, we got the advantage at St James's Park. City did not think, let's just sit on this and let's wait for them to make a chess move and we'll do a counter punch. City were like, well, we've already beat them because we're better than them and we'll beat them even heavily at the Etihad, and we did. And that is where I just fall out of any connection with Arteta and why he does the things he does. And hopefully I think it's going to be the reason he falls with this title. I'm going to go, I think they are going to drop points here. I'm going to go bold. I think 1-1. I think, look, Brentford are a lot better opposition than Sunderland and Leeds, and I back them to get something. They're in good form, 2 really big wins. So yeah, I think 1-1. I think the gap's going to be 4, mate.
Yeah, no, I hear you. I think it's a tough game, and like you said, City are circling some of these away games because the rest of them are bottom half. So this is the one that you're looking at.
Alex, he starts. In all honesty, it starts getting to squeaky bum time, doesn't it? If they wrap that up convincingly, suddenly it's like that bounce after the Liverpool game. You're like, oh shit. We're gonna have to go back to their calendar and look at where they are gonna drop points. Obviously, we've got the Etihad one, which I think we will beat them in because they're just no good at the Etihad. But you need other drop offs as well. So.
Yeah, no, I hear you. Okay, right. We got our predictions. Let us know below what you think, what your team is doing this midweek. Enjoy the games. And we'll be back, obviously, before... we got FA Cup. Should we do an FA Cup? Let's do an FA Cup 1A. Let's get to it. Let's do an
Who
FA
you
Cup
supporting?
fourth.
Get that Brighton Welbeck top on, cock.
Yeah, Brighton. Well, God, I don't even know. I don't even have a second team. Yeah, thanks Ineos for allowing the under-18s coach to bin the FA Cup for us. That was a great shout, that, when we apparently had Michael Carrick and Steve Holland sat there waiting, doing nothing. So yeah, shout out Ineos for that one.